All right, looks like just about everyone's here, so let's go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Derek Wood. I'm with SOS Online Backup. I'm the Partner Product Manager. Today we're going to be going through a number of items, particularly looking at our partner program. Background of the company, SOS Online Backup, where did we come from, what have we done, what are we doing, what do we plan to do? What do our services mean to you? Why is the partner program here, and why are we here today to talk about this? We're also going to go through the specifics of the partner program, so what you get with the program, all the deliverables. We're going to go through the features of the software as well. So there's partner program deliverables, there's product deliverables, and how this affects your business and how this can really make you take that leap into the managed service market if you haven't already. Just as a quick survey, how many of you are already providing managed services, meaning the majority of your customers pay you a monthly service fee for a set number of services that you define through some type of contract? So it's a regular payment schedule. And just put how many of you have, like if you do have this in line, what percentage of your customers are doing this and versus still doing kind of a break-fix utility or break-fix service? About 40%. So 40% are still doing break-fix, or 40% are doing the managed service package? Great. That's awesome. Okay. So it looks like the majority of us are taking those first steps into looking into managed services, which is great because that's what the market's doing right now. It's moving away from the reactionary service of break fix. It breaks, you come fix it. Going towards what we're calling a business continuity plan. So most of this is going to be geared towards those of you moving in this direction, and it's very common for our partners to be in this transition period or maybe a middle transition. You've already moved a lot of it, and you're looking at really just filling in some gaps here and there, or maybe just switching from a service that's not really working out for you, and you're looking for an alternative. So the industry, what does it look like? Well, when it comes to online backup, it's looking really good. So we have the Google storage service that's coming out brings huge adoption rates up as far as the viability of certain storage services. And this is good for everyone in backup because it means that there's going to be greater attention to the specifics of storage versus backup. So backup is security first. That's the difference. We're not just doing a simple storage service. We're doing a secure backup service, which includes the storage of data that's secured in a particular way, but also retrievable in a much different way. What we've seen in online backup over the last decade, and SOS has been around since 2001, a little bit about us before I get into this. So we had kind of the Australian version of the Silicon Valley startup. So dorm room in Melbourne, Australia, kind of a thesis project, why can't people back up their information easily and off-site so that if there's some sort of disaster, it's easy to get it back. From 2001 to 2004, rather humble beginnings, not a whole lot of effort, mostly local businesses in the area. It wasn't until about 2005, 2006 that we actually launched out to the U.S. market. 2005 was when we won our first PCMag Editor's Choice with our beta client. The partnership program that we had at that time, from 2006 to about 2009, was really pretty light. We had a light affiliate program for a couple of years that you would expect from any affiliate program. You sign up customers, and you get a revenue share based on the customers you sign up. Not a whole lot of touch, not very strategic. Well, as we started evaluating the market, we started seeing, there's a huge market here with the SMB crowd, and there's too many for us to reach ourselves. And really, we want people to be on the ground servicing this backup, because backup is something that people don't really like to do themselves. It's seen as rather a cost center in an insurance policy. So how can we make this a wider adoption among SMBs? And we thought, well, let's tackle the channel, and we'll go at the IT service providers for these SMBs. So we took what program we had for what we call our OEM channel. So a lot of heavy development work, customizations for large retailers, companies like Bitdefender, Webroot, these massive antivirus security firms, or even just like Best Buy type resellers. And we decided, well, let's take the strategic elements out of there and productize it so that we can really hit the IT service mid-market level. And that's what we did. And in 2009, we had our first launch in July of 2009. And there was such a tremendous growth between 2009 and the beginning of 2010, just 6 months, that we actually relocated our headquarters from Melbourne, Australia to here in Los Angeles and refocused our entire business to be channel focused. From there, you've seen iterations as time has gone on. Today, we're looking at a much different market, and before it was software as a service in 2006 to 2008, 2009. Now we're looking at managed services. With online backup specifically, we look at the market, and we've come out of this early adoption phase, and we're in this early majority phase. So years before, it was, well, it's slow, or, well, is it secure? I don't trust it. So there was a lot of hesitation, and the people moving into it were low risk. They didn't have anything in place before. Maybe they only had one computer. Mostly consumer-driven adoption. So we're out of that consumer-driven adoption, which still accounts for about 33% growth year over year between 2009 and 2011, which is awesome. But now we're looking at the SMB market, really taking a serious look at this. Currently, the IDC confirms, and this type of surveying is their business, that only 16% of companies are currently using some level of online backup. And about 3/4 of those companies using it said that they were still in mostly an extended trial phase. So they had done some early exploratory moves, and then they signed up, but for a limited implementation. Then the 16% that aren't using it at all said they are currently evaluating it. So not only are we looking at an early majority that's going to dramatically increase the number of adopters, but the scope of adoption. So maybe instead of just adopting in a sense that, okay, we got an online backup for our CEO and our marketing guy. Great, limited adoption. Well, now we're going to look into getting an online backup account for every employee plus our servers. So it's now online backup has become not just a default, but an absolute necessary part of any backup solution. And that's what we've been pitching for so long. So there's been a lot of reasons why online backup is becoming a major trend, but we're looking at a total change in expenditure on online backup services or in online operation services from 1 to 3% of total IT spending. Now, small numbers, 1 to 3%, but that's a triple. That's tripling what's being spent on online backup services. So again, here's another excerpt that we took from an IDC adoption and spending intentions on public cloud backup services. And it shows that one of the big things about online backup is that it's coming to this, what we're calling a price functionality inflection point. So the price of the online backup and the added functionality due to this technological advances in software, infrastructure, availability, the whole thing, security, is coming to a point now where it makes sense to buy it. It almost becomes the first part of the backup system you buy rather than the last. Primarily people already had, if they had a backup, maybe with some tape system, and now we're looking at, and they're like, well, maybe we should add online backup as well. Now it's kind of changing where you have these new businesses coming up, and their first mode of backup is online backup. And then they say, okay, what else can we do locally that would help us? And it really comes to a point of, what are we talking about in this new market of managed service what does a managed backup service really entail? And that's what you really have to look at, and that's what our partner program is geared at delivering to you. How can you go out to the market and say, I have a managed backup service? Because backup is a fundamental part of any business. Everyone needs it, even just any user. So it's a terrific stepping stone into the managed service market because this is the most reasonable managed service to jump into. So let's say you have a total managed service package that includes, everything from accounting software to process evaluation within your company, yada 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 yada. But they're not too sure if they really want to jump into something that heavy right away. So you say, look, let me just provide you a managed backup solution, and that'll be our starting point, and then everything else we'll do ad hoc. As you call me, I'll come do it. But the backup solution is something that really you're serving yourself as well. And it goes into what we've all known. IT service providers primarily are risk managers. Historically, that's what we do, right? You have to have a contingency plan of, if this customer server goes down, what do I do next? Risk management. The problem with risk management is it sounds horrible. It sounds hideous. No one likes the sound of it. It sounds expensive. It sounds menial. It sounds unnecessary sometimes unless you're a big organization. But risk management is valuable at any point. There's actually an article that came out, TechCrunch, and they reviewed a survey that showed that the majority of, or a big percentage, I think it was something around a third or so, of businesses that had gone out of business over the last few years didn't go out of business related to a poor economy, as most people chalk up, the bankruptcy rate. Most of it was due to poor or non-existent risk management, meaning no backups. Your server fails. They didn't have a contingency plan in place. No one knew what to do next. They couldn't get up and running in 10 days, and they went out. Downtime is very, very expensive, especially in this fast-moving market today. So what we've seen is this re-emphasis on risk management with a new word behind it. We're going to call it business continuity services. Business continuity sounds great. Of course I want to pay for business continuity. I want to pay for my business to keep up and running. Now you're not just a risk manager. Now you are a asset to this company. You're not just seen as a cost center. You're seen as a guy who's going to come and help and improve procedures. Not only is your job to maintain, but it's also to help improve. Hey Bill, I just found this new Collaborate service that SOS is providing. It's really great. It provides you the ability to share and work on information very quickly with many different people and without losing any type of confusion around versions of who's done what. Okay, great. Let's try it out. These types of things are where the managed service market is going. It means less sneaker time for you. You have better proactive services, which, as a basic principle of project management, prevention is much less expensive to provide than reaction. So if you can prevent a server from crashing, of course that's better than having to restore a server once it's crashed. So total business continuity means you have to really look at what a backup solution entails. What does it mean to you to have a backup solution? Is it just an online backup for file and folder recovery? Is it just some bare metal image recovery strategy on site? Truly, a solution, at least to me, means you've covered all the angles. And that's what we're providing to you. We're giving you the SOS server suite of services, the ServerSave solution, whatever you want to call it. But ServerSave includes various applications that are going to give you the ability to back up files and folders on-site. You can back them up off-site, which is beneficial for recovery, sharing, etc. You can also do image-based backup on-site or off-site. And we have a service for Cloud Boot, which right now is a per-order service, and we'll boot up an image in our cloud and then give you a login for that, so that you can recover or access data more quickly if you end up having to recover from a cloud image. So these are the types of things that you look into, and putting together the documentation to show, how you're going to get off the market, how you're going to get launched to market. When it comes to our partner program, the things that we're trying to provide to you is we see that, okay, we have this huge group of IT service providers, brilliant techs, but moving into a managed service package is a lot of work. It's a lot of documentation. It's a lot of formalizing what you've been doing as a default part of your services. But now it comes to you got to make some things pretty. You got to have a front. You got to put some stuff together. So we saw that a lot of our partners wanted to start offering this online. They wanted to do different integrations with our system, and they were spending between $5,000 and $10,000 for web design, API integration into some type of merchant system, putting together website templates, maybe purchasing a mass email system, whatever it could be. And I had one partner who actually ended up spending a lot more than that, and I thought, you know what, we should productize something that would generally solve all these needs and wants when it comes to actually launching the market. So we have the 360-degree partner program, which includes the web integration package. The web integration package is a package that includes integration into multiple different systems that are going to help you get to market. One of those systems includes SOS. So you log into the back end of this web package, and you have the ability to create, upgrade, cancel accounts, change account passwords, everything that our partner APIs allow you to do, except you don't have to do the integration. We've also integrated into multiple merchant systems. So if you want to sign up with PayPal Pro, Authorize.net, or eWay, for those of you in Australia or in New Zealand, then you can sign up for one of those accounts with the respective merchant gateway, and then you come into our system, plug in your credentials, and you're ready to start selling the service online. It's that simple. So no need to go through a hardcore, expensive, enduring web development period just to have that ability. And having a web-based sign-up isn't your primary business. We don't expect it to be, or at least not for the majority of you. But this is really nice to have as leave behinds. You go to a business, you say hi to people, and you're installing the backup, and they're like, hey, I have this problem or this whatever at home. Can this help me at home as well? So you have a leave behind that has a little coupon code on it. You say, yeah, go to my website, use the coupon code for a 15% discount, and you can sign up for a personal account, no problem. Let me know if you have any issues. If you're near a school or university, you can print out leave behinds in the same way, some type of educational discount. People can come right to your website and sign up. So it gives you the ability to really start a passive sales strategy without having to build it. So it's a really flexible system. It also includes with a content management system so that you can build out some customer-facing web content. So we have you pick a template. If you want a custom template, then we can talk about that as well. Just ask your partner specialist to set up a meeting with our strategic development partner, and they'll put together a couple custom design for you, and at a really competitive, I would say far below the market average for what you're going to do for being our partner. And it allows you to modify the content in real time. So you'll have your template, it'll be fixed, and there's a real simple visual editor that we've integrated with just to allow you to change the buttons, change the logos, change the copy, whatever you want to do. And all very simple, no web design experience needed. Part of the partner program also is we do weekly live trainings. So not just tech admin training so that your techs know, the basic level 1/level 2 tech support items, but it includes best practices that are updated regularly. So best practices and workarounds, those types of things, which may not make it out into knowledge base articles freely. We do a weekly training session, switching off between Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So this coming week is going to be Tuesday at 2 p.m., 2 to 4 p.m. Pacific. And the following week will be Wednesday at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific. We also do a Success with SOS training every Wednesday from 1 to 2 that discusses how are we successful, more information about how do we put together a business continuity plan, how do we put together a managed backup solution offering, what are some pricing strategies, what are some deployment strategies. That's more handled in the tech training. So we do these regularly, and we have them recorded in our Partner Resource Center as well. So, a couple questions here. Darren asked, you still have to get the machine to the cloud in order to utilize that function, don't you? And I assume this is talking about Cloud Boot. So part of the flow that we have, and we'll go through it a little bit today, is you take the image-based backup and you back it up off-site with our online backup application. So we have three separate applications, which we'll go through. One's for the image-based backup and recovery from local locations. Then you have our online backup tool, which will take any file off-site and then pull it back from off-site. And yes, you would have to have that image backed up in our cloud in order to take advantage of Cloud Boot. So we have here a little competitive comparison between SOS, Intronis, Doyenza Sigra, and XC Backup. So partner support, right now we're 8x5 if you call our partner hotline. We have partner support representatives here in Los Angeles that are available 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. We do have a partner support hotline available 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And we're going to be moving into soon a 8x7 and then a 24x7, and it'll be really nice. So we are really focusing right now on making our partner support program more readily available. And that's, again, out of here in Los Angeles. A rebranded client. So we do offer rebranding for our software clients. So that's only 3 out of the 5. Marketing materials, sales materials. Oh, sorry. The website template. Again, we're going to rebrand different web templates for you to use with the CMS. And for small added costs, you could have a completely custom website done for you. The web integration package is what a lot of these talk to. No one in the market or in any industry that I've looked at gives you something like the web integration package. It's essentially a third-party product that SOS, that we've built ourselves for you to use. And who does that? Most companies, they say, oh, you want to do that, here are APIs, good luck. We have partner APIs that we can give you, but we understand that a lot of you are already working 10, 12, 15-hour days and don't have time to do this yourself. Maybe you don't have internal resources for web design or web development, or both, or you just don't have the money or the time to wait for something like that to get done. Well, with our web integration package, we can deliver this to you within 2 weeks of sign-up. So in the first week, you get your software, you can start deploying it, playing with it, familiarizing yourself with it, interacting with our support staff, our partner team, and then the second week will be fully up and ready to go and get out to your customers. So this is really terrific. We don't require that you purchase hardware from us. With online file and folder backup, it's not that common to require hardware, but when you're talking about the image-based backup programs, it's pretty common. Companies like Datto, Zenith, they make you buy a $1,000, $2,000 box, and that's wholesale pricing, just to start talking about what kind of backup solution you want to put in there. So you can see that when it comes to what we're delivering, what we require you to purchase, and your wholesale costs and what you're paying, it really is no contest. We do Exchange, SQL, Windows backup, the whole kit. So it's really an all-inclusive solution that we're going to give to you for really a low cost. So we have here our suite of services. This is what SOS provides. So this is from the SOS perspective. So the SOS Cloud Life, we do have a Facebook backup application, and we've temporarily suspended this product development. We're going to take it up probably end of this calendar year, beginning of next, and get more into Twitter backup, G backup, Facebook backup. But for now, what we're looking at for our partner program is backup your desktop life. One of the biggest points of exposure is the user in any system. The user is always the one that's going to give you the most grief. In any risk registry, the user is going to be the biggest point of contention. So having a very simple to use and manage online backup tool that can back up from your workstations, your laptop fleets, is critical. Most backup solutions out there are server-centric. So it's like, oh, well, I have terminal services set up, so if it's not on the server, then it just doesn't exist. Really not that true. Users will somehow find a way to save something not on a central location. They're not even trying. They're just really good at finding those loopholes. So it's critical to do this. And there's been surveys that have come out, again, TechCrunch reviewed it, that with the same risk management article, that it's estimated that about 60% of a business's data resides on individual workstations and laptops. So how do you protect yourself if you don't have some type of workstation backup? Well, our online backup tool is terrific. You can run it every couple of hours. It gives you a really nice restore point objective, meaning how recent is your backup? Like what's your exposure? If we have a crash right now, is the most recent backup you have from 12 hours ago, a day ago, a week ago? With workstation level backup, have the thing run every hour, every 2 hours, and you're giving yourself a really nice RPO. It'd be rare to actually lose something. And the backups happen so quickly, you don't have to worry about it ruining your network or running your computer down and ruining productivity. I mean, if the recurring backups are so fast, it's just amazing. If the machine's running slowly, there's probably a whole lot of other reasons that it is, but our program is not going to be one of them. Mobile life. So we have just released our generic iPhone application, so for iOS devices. We have managed offsite backup. If you search through the App Store, you can download that, and it will allow you and your users to back up contacts and pictures. So that's really nice. It also allows you to search through your backup set, browse through your backup set, share and or preview files in your backup set as well. So it's very happy for on-the-go recovery or sharing of files. We also have a Droid application, which we're waiting for a few things to come out on the Droid, probably over the next 30 days, until we release that as a generic application for our partners as well. But that is coming. And then you'll all receive a mobile portal that can be used on any iOS device. It doesn't allow for backup, but allows for recovery. Then we have backup your file data. Then we're talking about, file servers. File servers, pretty simple. You select the data drive, have online backup, go to it, put it off site, terrific. Again, online services are front heavy, so depending on the data set, it may take some time to get that offsite initially, but again, the subsequent backups are super, super fast. And we're actually rated and tested as the fastest backup in the industry. And believe me, those stats are contested. Every company that we mentioned in our speed test, it's on our main website, SOSOnlinebackup.com. Were very quick to give us a ring and make us prove that what we did was true, and they retested and found the same. So that's why it's still up there. You can't just say those things. And that was done before a recent code base change. So that was in our version 4 software, and we just released a whole new code base, version 5, which we saw a 40% increase in the speed of backups, and we saw about a 300% increase in recovery speed. Backup sets that most systems just crash on upon recovering, something like 6 million files. We hadn't even tested something that big, and we had a customer come through with an account that large, and we were able to refresh everything within about 10 minutes on an average T1 network. So it's been really something spectacular to see the new code base out. We completely rebuilt the backup and recovery engine, and it's just been awesome. And we're just getting started. So the 5.0 code base was just released a couple months ago. So we're really excited to see where this has gone, and it's really taken us to that next level. Again, the application data backup. So historically, we specialized in file and folder backup. Today, it's not the case. Now we cover everything. Image-based backup. Take an image of your Exchange volume, your SQL volume, SharePoint volumes, whatever it is. It'll give you a really nice way to mount an image as a virtual drive, or you can just plug in the boot disk. So again, restore time objective. How quickly can you get back up and running? System data, same thing. Take an image backup of your C drive and be able to restore that with either a boot disk or just restore it as a virtual drive and pull the necessary data off of it. Any questions on the product suite or on the comparisons? Is anyone currently using a service that does cover all these things and they're comparing directly against it? Or do you have a couple of services that you're using that combine? And that doesn't include the web integration package either, right? So great to see. Yeah, so Jim says a couple of services. Yeah, it seems to be pretty similar across the board. So here's the list of things that you're going to get in our program. So again, Exchange backup and granular recovery. So we have an application called EGR, Exchange Granular Recovery, and this application is going to be used to just recover Exchange at a granular level. So that's pretty simple. You can go all the way down to the message level, restore individual calendar items. You can search by attachment, search by anything. You can restore an entire mailbox. You can restore just a specific user. You can throw a whole EDB to a new set of hardware, or again, just your daily user who deletes emails all the time and then asks you to recover them for you. Very simple, fast to use. One of the fastest and simplest programs I've used for Exchange recovery in a while. Bare Metal Image Creator. Again, this is your image-based backup tool. You're going to use this application to back up an image to some local location, whether it's the same machine, which isn't recommended, but you can do it, or to a backup machine. It doesn't have to be a server. It can just be anything. And then you use the Online Backup and Recovery Manager to take those images off-site as well as any files or folders. There's no limitation. You can grab from network drives, map drives, external hard drives, or whatever you want to do. Install it directly on your workstations and laptops and have those back up, especially for your mobile workers. So that's terrific. All right, Darren asks, a machine backs up the server and then sends the image to the cloud. No, there's an article where I'll go through the strategy and how you would deploy these different applications in a second. Let me get to that. Good question. Workstation back, we describe it as a separate deliverable, but it's the Online Backup and Recovery Manager. But it's important to understand that you can just install this on any old workstation or laptop and run it off-site. It's really important to know that that can be done. And for the Mac application, we're still in development, so it's still in version 1, so we're still building it out. And we expect to have a generic version of the Mac application available to our partners, again, probably in the next 30 to 45 days. We were going to release it earlier, but we found that some of the progress just wasn't there. So that'll be trickled out, and then the improvement to the Mac application will come over time. And then, of course, the Premier Web Integration Package. So we used to sell this integration package as a separate part of our service this time last year, and we sold it for $5,000, which was still about, based on the time and effort we spent developing it, if you were to do this yourself using our APIs, it'd probably be closer to $10,000 to $15,000 to get everything you're getting in here, if that cheap. But now it's just included as part of the program, no extra costs, and you just get it. So it's really been amazing to see the success of this thing and how it's been changed over the years. Then the mobile applications we talked about. iPhone's available as of this last week. The Droid will be available soon, and the BlackBerry much farther down the line. So the BlackBerry app will probably end up going away, and we'll probably just come out with a Windows Metro application that will allow for some basic access. So here's a comparison grid that just shows that, okay, who has SOS been competing with over the last decade? Well, primarily, well, not even decade. Since 2006, we've been competing with Carbonite and Mozy for the most part. There have been a ton of other companies that have come and gone, HP Upline included, if any of you remember them. And we've always been boasted as the best in the industry by PCMag, and that's not an easy award to get. That's not something you just pay for like backupreviews.com. It's not some blogosphere that you just getting good with somebody and they keep choosing you. PCMag will put your software and service through the ringer, and we keep coming out on top. We're more secure, we're more redundant, we're more serious about backup for your SMBs. Mozy and Carbonite, a lot of gimmicky offers, these pseudo unlimited accounts, but they limit your bandwidth, they limit the amount of data you can back up per day. And again, go check out our speed tests on our website. When it comes to total business backup, adding what we call our ServerSave suite. Once we launched ServerSave in November, we really stopped being direct competitors with these two. We weren't playing the same game. Now we've added a whole new set of competitors who still don't really do what we do. What's funny is what we used to tell our partners who wanted to do image-based backups. So 2008 to 2011, summer of 2011, literally would tell people, yeah, we don't do image-based backups, but if you want to do that, you should. Go sign up with Zenith. We actually told people, go sign up with Zenith. They do image-based backup pretty well. Go to Intronis or any of these, Aperture, any of these companies that do image-based backup, Backup Exec. And then we had partners who did that. They went to these companies for the image-based backup locally, and then they use our stuff for the online backup because we've been the best in online backup. Well, now we've added these services. So we've had so many partners come to us. We had about 600 partners that were in our program before we added image-based backup, and every one of them has converted. It only took about 5 months, and every one of our partners converted to our new ServerSave program because it was awesome. And it made their business so much cheaper and gave them the same functionality, if not better. So they canceled their Zenith relationships, whatever it was, got rid of those boxes, and then came to us. Much better. And we've never been signing more partners than ever. We're averaging about 120, 150 new partners a month, and it's just been great to see that type of growth come into play. So when it comes to what we're doing, it really is pretty special. So the flexibility, again, you don't have separate management agents. You open up ServerSave and you're going to get your applications right here. We have some stats here that go about how much, what kind of speed we're looking at. Faster uploads due to better compression ratios and better transfer protocols. We use a proprietary transfer protocol, so this is not an FTP. It's a proprietary protocol, so it's a very complicated and secure protocol that we use to transfer. Currently, we boast the ability to back up larger backup sets than anybody and also recover backup sets faster than anyone else. And if you have a lot of data, you can always order a physical media recovery from us, and we also show you instructions where if you have access to a data center or a fast internet connection, we actually have instructions for you to do it yourself. You don't even have to come to SOS for it. So it's a very unique thing. Most companies, that's all they do. You have to go through them. But we give you the instructions on how you can do it yourself, which is really nice because when time is of the essence, it's your urgency and it's your ability to make things happen quickly. So if you have the option to do it yourself, that's always terrific. Who likes not relying on other people, right? Got a good question from Can you back up images to the cloud for clients and servers? If so, how's it doing it? How is it done using SOS? Well, let me show you in a minute. Let me just pull up our website here. So if we go to our support section and go to our knowledge base, I'm sorry this is going a little fast. I'm going to try to hurry up so we can get done by the top of the hour. I want to show you the software still. When we go to SOS for Server Save, and we have articles here. I'm going to go to the FAQ section. And we have how should I set up my SOS environment, but there's this other article in here. Do I need a staging machine? Here, do I need a staging server to use SOS Server Save? So this is a great article. You could read either though. They're both good contextually. And this is going to be how you would deploy it. So use Image Creator to create an image of a server, whether it's a VM or a physical server, and you're going to point the destination of this backup to some staging machine. So again, you don't need to buy this from us. Just get a beefy workstation is all you need. So you send the images to the staging machine, and then on the staging machine you install the online backup and recovery manager, which in SOS branding is called ImageStream. So you install the online backup and recovery manager on this machine, and you select the images that you'd like to back up, or the files, and you put it on a schedule, and it's going to back it up to the SOS cloud. You'll also take the same program, and you install it directly on workstations or laptops, and back up to the cloud, and then you have the mobile application to the cloud. So to recover, you would need to recover. You could, through online backup, online file and folder backup, you install that anywhere you need to recover it to. And then you would recover it from the SOS cloud, and then you would use Image Creator to then mount those image files as virtual drives or use a boot disk to recover it as a new machine. So that, in a nutshell, is how it's done. So real quickly, let me open up a server environment, and I can actually show you the software. Darren asks, how is the machine image determined if there are a large number of images? Well, there are different backup ID numbers and different incremental backups per backup job. So I'll show you that. And it would just be how you organize it. So if you have a staging machine, here we go. Let me pull this up. Hold on, let me change the display to just show this remote session. All right, everyone seeing this remote session? Okay. So, for instance, if I launch online backup and recovery, and I'm going to go to the classic view to restore. And as it's refreshing, it's going to show me a list of all the machine names that I've backed up data from on the left. So the file path for our service is all based on machine name. So if you were to put all these images, like you have multiple servers backing up to that staging machine, you would probably have a folder. So like let's say, for instance, that Lasso demo and the F drive is your backup destination because that's how we have it set up. So if I go to the F drive, I have all these images here. These are images all from the same machine, but I would probably have, you know, a machine name folder, and then I would direct the backups for each particular machine to that machine name folder, and then that'd be how you organize it. Does that make sense? But these are the images. If they had more, this is what versions look like, although this is a unique environment that you would never see in real life, so an image actually is showing multiple versions. But this is how multiple versions looks like if you're doing the file and folder backup. Because images append, they don't overwrite. Okay, let me go back. I'm going to do a quick run through of the bare metal image creator, then the online backup recovery tool, and then the bare metal image creator tool again, and then Exchange Granular Recovery. And then we'll take questions at the end. I want to get through this so that people who need to go in 10 minutes can go. And then after I do the demo, I'll give out the Kindle code, and you can all give that Kindle code to your partner specialist when you call in, and they'll enter you into the drawing for the Kindle. So first, bare metal image creator. So I open this up, and we have a couple of tabs. You have the wizard tab. You have the disk volume manager, which you really don't need to use. It's only necessary, well, not really ever. The volume manager is usually done through the wizard, so you don't need to come through here. Backup jobs, if you wanted to edit a backup job or cancel a backup job, you come here, but for the most part you don't use it. I'm going to delete that to show you the different scheduling options. Different destinations, so again, you handle this through the wizard. You don't really need to come here for it. And then backup history, which is really nice. So say we have a bunch of errors here, we can scroll down and see what's happening here. And then in clear English, it just says there's not enough space on the disk. So my F drive is full. So I need to delete some files from the F drive. No problem. So let's go back to the wizard and let's create a backup job. So we hit next. And it's going to ask you to select a volume. Okay, what volume do you want to back up? Do you have this view or this view? And I'll say, okay, let's just back up volume E, or I could back up volume E and C. We'll just do volume E. Hit next. And so it's, okay, where do you want to point the drive? So typically you go to network location and you define where your staging machine is, or your external drive, NAS, whatever it is you want to do. For this purpose, I'm just going to use my F drive, just a virtual drive that we're using for demo purposes. We hit next. It's going to ask you to schedule. So this is very typical of what you all may be dealing with currently, which is a backup exec schedule. It's usually limited to a full backup every weekend and then incrementals throughout the week because of limitations in physical storage you have on site, and also with recovery methods. A lot of image-based backup systems would require you to first recover the full backup image, and then each incremental backup in sequential order. So let's say you have a crash on Friday and you need to get back to Thursday. You'd have to recover first this image, then you have to recover Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. And it's a really big pain, and it's terrible, which is why you have such a short full schedule. But with our system, you don't need that. You just select the incremental you want to back up to, and it'll do an intelligent file chain that'll recover all of those for you in the order. And I'll show you that in a minute. So what we recommend is you go through this continuous incremental backup strategy, which means you're going to back up once right now, and then every day of the week you're just going to run incremental backups, you know, and you just put however many hours you want to do. Every hour is probably a little overkill, but it depends on your environment. But you'll just have a ton of incrementals, and it doesn't matter how many incrementals you have because the recovery system is super simple and easy to use. So you don't have to manually recover every incremental you have. The system will do it for you. You just tell it where you want it to end up. So this is going to have us doing 6 incremental, that's incremental images per day. So every 2 hours, it's going to run a backup between 8 and 6 p.m. Perfect. It uses VSS writers, so if you have something else installed using VSS, you're going to have to knock it off. VSS does not like being shared. VSS is important to understand because VSS writer base, or databases with VSS writer, which almost every SQL, SQLite, MySQL database does, means that we're going to be able to perform a transactionally consistent backup. That means if you have a SQL server running and we're going to take an image of the whole volume that SQL server is on, you're going to have a clean backup of that SQL server, meaning you're not going to cut transactions in half. So let's say we got Darren buying a MiG fighter jet from Gordon. All right. Transaction comes in 2 steps. 1 step, take money out of Darren's account. Step 2, send money to Gordon's account. All right. Let's call it a cool mill for this MiG fighter. You got a great deal on it. So for a cool million, Darren's trying to buy this thing. A crash consistent backup, which would not use VSS, is going to happen right in the middle of that. And then when you go to recover, there's going to be no record of this transaction ever happening. That's a big bummer. What a transactionally consistent backup does is through VSS writer and the use of VSS is it's going to negotiate with the databases that are running and say, hey database, you got any transactions going on? I'm trying to take a snapshot. Database comes back and says, no problem. I'm going to pause right after this last one, and then I'll just hold up. Let me know when you're done. This all happens in milliseconds, you know, and what you have is a transactionally consistent backup. So to continue, so yes, you can run this during the day while your backup is running. Hit next. You have different compression methods. So standard is going to compress your data to around 50 to 60% depending on the server you're backing up. High is about 10 to 15% more compressed than the standard, so it depends on your environment. You can encrypt the data locally as well, and you can go to advanced and you can select the encryption method. So depending on your security requirements, you may have to do this. So HIPAA requirements, you got to do this at the AES 128-bit. For those older databases that do not use a VSS writer, you can actually script in pre-snapshot commands. So you can pre-snapshot, stop this database. Post-snapshot, restart this database. Post-backup, restart machine, whatever you want to do. But this is a really convenient tool if you still have some older items there. Good question from Darren. Will the higher compression significantly slow the process compared to normal? Significant, kind of a relative term. I would say it definitely does slow it down. Excuse me. It definitely does slow it down, but it depends on the type of data that's on the server and the amount of data we're talking about. So you put a high compression on, like a terabyte server, and you have a couple 100 gig files on there. That may take a lot longer. Compression is a nonlinear algorithm, as is encryption. So anytime that you have file size increase, you have the time to go through those processes increase exponentially. So that's what you have there. There's no retention method because we did it a continuous incremental. If you're not doing continuous incremental, then you could set a retention period. Example, delete incremental files that are 3 weeks or older. For your larger environments, we recommend setting a split. So we can handle large files, but it's good for every once in a while to say, okay, well, maybe we should split the image of this system into 100 gig chunks just for faster processing in both backup and recovery. And you can do that here. So if you have really big servers that you want to take images of, then you could do that. Or even 200 gig. But like 100 to 200 gig chunks is recommended. We've tested with files 500 gigs, but the performance is a lot slower than a couple of smaller files. So do that, hit next, gives you the summary, we hit finish, and that's it. So it'll run at noon, so in 3 minutes. It's going to fail, that is. So let me just delete this. All right, so now online backup and recovery. So then you go to online backup and recovery, and now we want to take these images that are being created, we want to take them off site. So I sign in, I go to backup, set up my online backup, gives me a familiar tree view. So I say, okay, well the F drive is my drive for backup files, so let's just select this whole drive. It's going to scan the amount of data versus the size of my account. And I'll say I want all these backed up off-site. So I hit next. I put in schedule, backup automatically without user intervention. That's just to run it on a scheduler through the Windows Task Scheduler. Backup even when this user is not logged on. So this is set up as a service. So if you are on a Windows domain environment, you're backing up data from network drives, this is critical to do. You hit OK. You put the frequency that you like to back it up in. If it's a workstation, and you can do it hourly. For this type of backup, I'd recommend daily. Email reports at the end of the backup, you put your email address in here. You can put multiple email addresses. The email alerts will tell you how many files were backed up, how many files changed, how many files changed but failed the backup, and it'll give you a list of those files, their file directory or the file location, as well as the error and what happened and why that file wasn't backed up. Typically, it's a permissions thing. That's it. So you hit finish, and it's going to run a backup now. If I want to restore, I go to online restore. I prefer the classic view, but I'll show you the wizard. It's going to refresh here. If I want to go back to a particular date, I can go back to a particular month. I can go back years. So depending on how long you've had your account, you can go back quite a long ways. Sorry, no future recoveries. So I go to May, we go here, and we hit next. And it's just going to recover the most recent. I would say, okay, my F drive, that's where I have all my images. Let's sort by name. And we have backup job 12, and say we just want to get backup job 12. That we could go through and just select the backup job 12 files and recover all of those to some location. So let's say we recovered those through the system. Now we want to recover. Now we want to mount these images. So we can either go. Let's say we recovered them to drive F. I got an image here. Your backup job 13, number 27. I can right-click it without opening the program, and I can say quick mount to drive queue. It's going to set up a virtual drive queue for backup job 13 up to incremental 27. I'll do it real quickly. So I can just do that now. Yes, these are the incrementals. And so the system will intelligently say, this is an incremental file. This is what we want to do. So there. So I just did a quick mount. Here it is. So that was super fast and easy. Let's say we go through the Shadow Protect wizard, though. We open up Bare Metal Image Creator. We go to Wizard. This restore is a boot disk restore. So you just get your recover environment, USB or CD, usually a USB. But if I just go to Explore Backup, it takes me through a wizard, and it says, okay, which do you want to back up? So I say, okay, backup job 13, incremental 25. So it's going to give me some information about this. I hit next. Then it's going to say, hey, we identified a lot of different incrementals for this backup job. Which one do you want to restore to? I'll say, give me the most recent. Give me the number 29. I hit next. And it says, great. What drive letter do you want to create? Let's go with T. Do you want it read only? No, I want it read and write. Perfect. So I'll hit next. It's going to give me the file chain that it's going to recover for me. So again, that used to be a manual thing. Now you just hit finish. And let's wait a couple seconds. It's going to launch me right into the T drive where it's just recovered my exchange volume. Done. So now we've recovered the exchange volume. What can we do with that? We open up Exchange Granular Recovery. And we're going to hit the source. All right, let's go find that EDB file. Yes, and it just created the T drive. I didn't have to go to Windows Volume Manager or anything. It just automatically set it up as a virtual drive. And earlier when I did the quick mount, it automatically opened it up as I think it was G or K. So that happened so quickly you might have missed it. But I just right-clicked the image and hit quick mount, and it just did it. So let me go back to the computer, Exchange T, go Exchange, go to my mailbox, mailbox database, mailbox EDB. Sorry if I'm going fast, guys. I want to be able to get you guys back on the job so that you can go talk to our partner specialist, and then you can make more money. It's going to automatically select the transaction log path down here. If it's for some reason in a different location, you can change that. Hit OK. Now it's going to load up information it has from that source EDB file. So here it is. So you can go down and see, okay, we have, all this is empty because it's a demo, but we have some inbox items. But you could see, calendar, contacts, lead items, drafts, inbox, all that good stuff. You can export this to a PST file, which is more of a digital discovery type use, or electronic discovery, depending on the term you like to use. More commonly is you're going to open up a target Exchange server to recover to. So I connect to all mailboxes, domain controller, the server name, connect to public folders. This is going to authenticate based on my Windows user that I'm logged in as currently. So based on my Windows domain credentials I'm currently logged in as, it's going to let me or not let me have access to this stuff. So, all right, we have this mailbox. Let's say you have a user come to you and they say, okay, there is some attachment and nobody should have that attachment. Please find out who has it so we can go talk to them. And it starts with management. Okay, great. So we're going to search for the words management and under attachment names, and we're going to search the entire EDB file. So we'll hit find now. So we see all these users who have this exchange. Let's verify this is the right one. We open it up, hit the attachment button, management guide. That's the one. Okay, perfect. So you'll talk to all these users. Or let's say someone came and said, hey, I need to really get to that user. You search through, or I need to get that email back. You sit here and you drag and drop it into the inbox, and you're good to go. You shift select this, and you can drag all of them in here. So it's a really simple and easy to use drag and drop function. I can even come to the inbox. I could delete a message from the live server as well. So if I wanted to search through your live EDB, same thing. I can do that and search for it and then delete them from the server. I could take this whole user and I can just drag and drop it onto this Lasso demo box, and it'll create a new mailbox. Darren asks, is that the same as the user deleting the item? Yes, except it won't end up in the deleted items box. I'll just remove it completely. I can drag and drop the whole EDB to dissimilar or similar hardware, and it'll just say, okay, well, do you want to create these mailboxes that we don't recognize, if any? You say yes or no. So it's a really powerful and simple system that you don't really need a lot of expertise in Exchange management to understand this is how I get a message back to somebody, this is how I restore a contact, a calendar, whatever it is. So it's a really powerful system that we have here. Any questions on EGR or on image backup? Okay, let me go back to our slides. So here, this is where SOS used to play. Just a file and folder online backup against Carbonite, Mozy, Acronis, Backblaze, Norton, HP, iDrive, all these different companies. Very saturated market as far as how many different options you have. And then it's also kind of a mix if you go to consumer services, who's storage, who's backup. But then we moved with our ServerSafe program that we're looking at today. This is what we're offering. And if you notice, this area is not that crowded. It's pretty wide open. And when it comes to whose name goes across this whole grid, SOS is pretty much the only one. We're going to give you an end-to-end solution in one program that you may be using multiple programs for today. So to get more information, you really want to call up your partners or your partner specialists. They'll go through a specific ROI with you. They'll go through all this information. From what you're buying for us, what should you charge for it? What will you be making? And they're going to find a package and a program that's appropriate for you. And that's their job, is to make sure that not only is this a good program for you, but that you're a good partner for us. We want to make sure that our partners are going to be out there and successful. And we're going to help you get there. So again, if you go through, here's some more environment that we were looking at in the Exchange, but really it's all about calling up a partner specialist. And let me give you your Kindle code. Kindle code today is QC, as in Charlie, 7F30. So again, that's QC as in Charlie, 7F as in Frank, 30. And let me put this in the chat for you all. So call up your partner specialist at 877-896-3611, extension 1. And they're going to help you identify the opportunity you have in this program. They'll go through the different pricing structures. Our base plan is $399 a month, and it gets you everything we talked about. It's really a spectacular deal and just ninja price point for what you can provide to your customers. So again, my name is Derek Wood, Partner Product Manager here at SOS, and thank you for all your time. And we'll stick around for any questions that you might have more specifically about the program, the demo that we ran through, the back end of the web package, anything that you guys want to go through. I'll open up the dashboard and go through it in the next over the next 5-10 minutes if you guys want to stick around. Copy the presentation, no problem. Just ask the partner specialist you talk to, and they'll be able to get it for you. So right now I'm going through the partner dashboard. And here's the partner dashboard. You get some updates and news, things that we're releasing, specials, resources. You have your central management system here. So when you install the software, and we use this for trials, so a lot of these trials just ended. But you can see, okay, we have a backup that's actually running right now. Give me more information about it. Well, it's been running for just about 10 minutes, and it's only got one unchanged files, and it's uploaded 750, so it's doing some work. We got this other one uploading. We see more information. This has been running for about 15 hours. There we go. So 15 hours with 4.2 gigs, so probably a slow backup speed connection. So really nice monitoring and management system. Examples of rebranding, sure. So we have, let's go back here. Well, you saw the demo. And this is the rebranding for the ServerSafe client. So Acme Online Backup, and then the Acme logo up here. And then we're talking about the web integration package. I can just open this up, add new account. Oh, sorry, demo server. We're switching up how we're doing the SSLs for our demo. But this comes in the back end of your web integration package. So if I go up to our main site, they've managed online backup. So this is the live site. You can come check it out. So managedonlinebackup.com. Success with SOS, business continuity plan, which we go over in our Wednesday Success with SOS trainings. Workstation backup, just a server save, download, disaster study, HP's download impact of disaster. It's a good study, a couple years old. Some recorded training links. We can go to pricing and sign up. So here's a sign up page for one of our web packages. Again, this is our faux partner. But in the back end, we see that we have a lot of functionality in here. So this is the web integration package. So we've built out updates for the admin. You have different admin settings for your web, for the possibility of a website. So you have a tool here to build a website if you so choose. It comes with some default templates, but you need to go through and make sure that you update the copy in here to make sure it's, you know, your business voice and the messaging you want. So you can update the application. We update the application regularly, and we just had one as early as this morning. So here it is right here. So we added a country drop-down and PayPal Pro update. Application is currently up to date. Great. Going through it, you have different payment gateways you can register for. So we have Authorize.net, PayPal Pro, PayPal Standard, and eWay. And it's really simple. You come in here and you hit Edit, and then you enter your information here, uncheck the sandbox, recurring one equals true, so yes, hit submit, and you're good to go. And then you're ready to start charging people. Before you want to start charging people, it's probably a good idea to come up here and set the currency. By default, it'll show up as USD, but you just activate whichever one you like. Then you go into View Plans. View Plans. You come up with all these plans, and then you could be, you know, really simple. You could say, okay, let's, you know, edit this 1 gig option. You can change the title to whatever you like. You can make it active or inactive. You can change the pricing. So if I just deactivated that and submitted, so I go to sign up, and we're going to see this plan go away. I'll refresh. It's gone. So it's that simple. Now no one else can buy that plan. So very simple to make your web e-commerce manageable. You can have coupon codes. So you have different coupon codes. For example, go edit this one, and we can say, okay, I want this coupon code to be good through, let's say through the end of May, since we're in May. Or how about just May? So start date, we're going to have a weekend Cinco de Mayo special. Those of you in the Southwest, we'll do it through Sunday. So Cinco de Mayo special. So code Cinco de Mayo, May 5th special. And then number of uses, well, how big of a special do we want this to be? We can either make it a specific dollar amount or percentage. Depending on how big of a discount, you can change it on number of uses. So you could send out an email with the mass email tool that you have here and say, hey, come sign up now, and the first 100 users get a 50% discount on any backup plan I have available. Users thereafter have to use some other code that you would create. So hit submit, Cinco de Mayo. So if I get to sign up here, let me refresh. I select a plan. I type in Cinco de Mayo. Well, it can't be applied. Oh, because it's too early. That's right. It's not yet the 4th. Makes sense. There we go. I saved $12.50. And then this is using PayPal Standard, so when I hit submit, it's going to jump me into the PayPal website. That's only for PayPal Standard. So really easy coupon system to use, great for leave behinds, educational discounts, mailer discounts, physical mail discounts, friends and family, whatever you want to do. Generally, it's always good to have like a 15% discount item that would just be good year-round, and you could always give it out to people to make them feel good about themselves. You have the content management system, which is really nice. So you can go through here, It comes with 5 default pages, so home, contact us, terms and conditions, which is absolutely required for you to go through, a thank you page, and a sign-up page. So if I go to home, I'll hit view. You can change the title. So when people search for your website, the title comes up, then your URL, and then your description. And then the keywords are keywords that will make people hit this page. And then you have a hit counter here as well. So you can do this, week to week. You can measure that. If you want to use Google Analytics, just let us know and we'll plug it into the site for you. So if you hit edit here, visual editor. So here's what it looks like in the editor. Let's go back to the home page. Here it is live. There it is. So you see that the template is locked, but you have the structure and the content to adjust. It's very simple. Pricing and sign up. Unlink it. I want to link it to something. I can go to any URL. I could just have it linked to a file and just not be a pricing and sign up page at all. Or I can link to an internal page, in which case it's going to pull up this list, and I say, okay, I want to go to my sign up page. Hit OK. I hit submit. Hit refresh. And now this will take me to my sign up page. So it's very simple, very easy to do. You can add new pages. I always recommend when you start getting into this, hit view source and then copy the source and save it into a notepad file and back it up. Because if you start changing some things and maybe you decide, I really like the way it started, I need to start from scratch, that's a really easy way to recover it. We don't have a back to default button for you here. So it's always good to just take the source. And if you're more advanced in web design and web development, then you can come in here and be pretty creative as well. We've seen some web designers do a lot of things on this website that most people don't even try because they're like, oh, I don't have cPanel access. I don't even want to try to do that. We've seen some really spectacular things come through. It's just a matter of being willing to try it out and put in that effort. But you are limited to the content management system in here. If you do need more control and you do need cPanel access, then we do have the APIs available for you, in which case you could build out something on your own. But we simply can't allow that access for this package. So coupon codes, content, support ticketing system, just a basic form system. Your customers submit a ticket to you, you get an alert via email. You can go back and you can reply back, you can work with them. Pretty simple. The mailer system is nice. You plug in your mailer settings here, and then based on whatever campaign or subscription groups you're putting out, you get statistics. So you could say overall. You could say just specific groups, just specific campaigns, just specific dates, and it'll give you bounce rate, open rate, click-through rate, unsubscribed rate. Really good stuff. Really quite a powerful tool. Again, this is at no extra cost. So you don't have to pay anything extra for this. All you have to do is go register a top-level domain that's not being used for anything else. Once we have that and you've pointed it to our DNS, then we'll go ahead and set it up, and you'll be off to the races. So again, really simple stuff. Admin settings. What do you want to do here? Your global metadata for your title, description, and keywords. And that's pretty much it for the management side. Any questions on that? How does it look? I'm surprised so many of you stayed so late afterwards. Does it look pretty good? Our partners use this at a wider range. Some partners who don't have much of a excuse me, who don't have much of a web presence or resources behind web design and web development will move and use this as their primary website, which is awesome. A majority of our partners use it as a pseudo product site, so just putting very basic information about the backup service using the login and the sign up page. And then we have some partners who are on the other side of the spectrum where they have more advanced web design and web development already in place, and they just use the sign up and login page and nothing else. And then, of course, we have our partners who just take the APIs and build it into their own systems. Well, that's it. But this package is yours, within, a week and a half of signing up with us. So it's really nice. All right. So unless there are any other questions, I think we'll call it for today, and we'll look forward to having you in the program. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren, Gordon, everyone else. I appreciate it. And again, call your partner specialist. If you go to the SOS website, numbers all over the place, 877-896-3611. Be sure that you call in and give them your contact information and the Kindle code so we can get in touch with you, not only to see how much money you're going to make with us, but also so we can give you your Kindle if you win. So thank you all. Have a good day. Hey, Gordon, so if you have primary residential clients, we do have partners in the same boat as well. Talk to your partner specialists about it, and they'll be able to set you up with an appropriate program. But we got guys all over, SMB, residential, enterprise. We serve it all.